Welcome to the Unicorn. We're going to talk about all things independent comics, specifically the deadliest high school comic book in the 80s, Rick Remender's Deadly Class. I'm Mikey.
I'm Demoan.
And today, people, are back at it again with another episode of Deadly Class on episode 4, episode Quattro. And we're going to be talking about volume 4, which is going to be titled Die For Me. And that's going to cover issues 17 to 21. And listen, Demoan, I'm excited. I hope you're excited because I've been hyping up this volume since we started.
Dude, the exam volume is one of my favorites in the whole years I've read.
It is my favorite because, like, I remember when I read this book a few years ago, like, this was the volume that, like, cemented Deadly Class, one of my favorite books. Because I was just like, oof, like, it gets real up in this volume. I think I consider the Die For Me volume an event.
Yes, absolutely,
100%.
Yes. It reads like one. It's all just one event. It's just an event. That's what it is.
Pretty much, right? But yeah, I'm excited. So we're gonna get right into it in a second. But if people don't know, it's just gonna be me and Demoan because Rebecca unfortunately had some adult things to take care of. So she's gonna join us the next episode 5.
She has a life.
She has a life. Yeah. She doesn't, she's not buried into a Deadly Class podcast all the time like the rest of us. So. So actually, Demoan, before we start though, I don't know if you remember, but last episode we did, I finished it off once we did the whole twist with the whole kill the rats and at the end of the last volume, and I remember I put up a little poll, if you remember, to you have no clue.
Oh, I actually do remember the poll. I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
So for people that don't remember, if y'all haven't checked out the last episode, check the last episode out because you can't start this one until you start the last one, because you're gonna get some spoilers.
That's true.
Yeah. So last episode, I put up a poll on our community tab on our channel, and the poll was just to set up hype for this volume. I wanted to see out of the main 4 characters, excluding Maria, because Maria's we know from last volume is kind of out of the picture right now. Out of the main 4 characters, who did y'all think was going to die? And you had the option to choose either Marcus, Saya, Willie, and Billy. So yeah, Demoan, are you curious to see what? Because these things, people actually voted. Like, what did they expect? I was like, wow, people actually cared.
Good for them.
Yeah, so thank y'all for whoever voted. We don't know who you are.
Round of applause.
Yeah, you did good. You followed the assignment. But yeah, so I know the results, Demoan, and I'm going to share them in a second. But who did you think they chose? Who was the number 1 pick of who they think that was going to die in this volume?
Can you read me back the options?
So it was Marcus, Saya, Willie, and Billy.
You know what? I think they're definitely not going to say Marcus. I think he's too much of the main character at this point. Okay. I think they're going to put their money on Billy.
On Billy? Okay. All right. When I first made the poll, I was like, oh, maybe they're going to pick either Billy or Marcus. I honestly thought some people were going to pick Marcus, but not a lot of them. So yeah, so right now I'm gonna share real quick, and yeah, Demoan, I will say this right now: we are both wrong. I mean, well, you're more wrong, but like, I mean, I'll say we're both wrong. But yeah. So out of 7 people who have voted, Marcus won. Marcus was the ideal candidate for them for to die in this volume.
I like how no one said Saya.
No one said Saya, so it was
because they know she's a bad bitch from the very beginning.
Yeah. They know she's a bad. They know she's a bad member jamma, so that's why she was gonna be untouched. But we got 43% for Marcus, and then 0 for Saya, and then Willie and Billy were tied with 29%. So yeah, people who just like are just sick of Marcus. Apparently. I guess after last one, I'm just like,
a real sad boy.
Yeah. But yeah, I just want to start that off real quick. I thought that was like a little fun thing that, like, you know, that happened while we were waiting for this to do episode 4. So yeah. But yeah, so we'll just get right into it. So let me just set up the slide real quick, and we will get right into it. So starting off with issue number 17 of Deadly Class. And I love this cover. So straight off rip, love this cover.
Right?
Love seeing Master Lin looking, you know, very nefarious and just like kind of evil, because like, you have him dark in the foreground, and then just like in the back you see just a lot of dead bodies and a lot of bodies of dead students, and just like students killing other students. And
it's exactly really as he planned. He loves it. You can tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. It's very Battle Royale. If anyone's not seen Battle Royale, it's a good movie, so I'll check it out. But yeah, so we'll get right into it. So I'm gonna start this one off. So the issue begins with kind of like a zoom in on this hallway going towards the auditorium door, which the auditorium that we ended off on the end of last volume. And we have Marcus basically talking to him, like monologuing to himself, basically reflecting on, you know, who he is and his what his life has been like thus far, being homeless, being involved with King's Dominion, and just knowing for the fact that, like, you know, he has a sudden realization that he's probably going to die, even though he thinks that he deserved to die a lot earlier. If that woman that jumped off the bridge killing his parents would have you know, jumped
just a second later.
A second later, he probably would have. I think earlier or later. Yeah. So I said, like, if the bridge jumper jumped a single second later, he would have been dead along with his parents. And while he's doing this, we see him burst through the doors, being chased by an angry mob of legacy kids looking to kill him.
It's because he's a fucking rat.
A great way to start off. Like this issue starts off immediately fast. Like. Does not shy away from what's going on. So transitions to so right after that we see literally a massacre is happening. Like it's a bloodbath. We see
they're piling out of the doors. It's crazy.
Yeah, we literally see not only just a bunch of like dead rats like everywhere, but also the various legacy kids going after each rat, murdering as many as they can. And specifically we get involved with Marcus getting in a conversation with the Salvato kids, which people don't remember is the cartel kids that Chico and Maria were affiliated with, and one of them
may they rest in peace.
Yeah, may they rest in peace. And one of them simply says that El Alma Diablo sends his regards from the gates of hell. So it's revealed that the Salvato kids know that Marcus and the rest of the crew, along with Maria, killed El Diablo in the last volume, and he basically mentioned that, like, yeah, like he actually mentions that he's gonna have what's coming to him just like Maria did, and that's when Marcus gets a sudden realization that Saya and Willie had nothing to do with Maria's disappearance. It was the cartel the entire time, which immediately causes Marcus to shoot this guy in the head because he killed the girl that because they got rid of the girl that, you know, he cared about. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So then while it's happening, Petra's about to get swarmed up by these the cheerleading squad, and they do a little like nice little like death cheer, which is kind of like hilarious. And while this is happening, Marcus comes to her rescue, and basically is making fun is protecting Petra from getting slaughtered by these cheerleaders, and he also makes the realization that like he's kind of gotten used to the idea of gotten used to the fact that like he's killing people without any emotion, because he killed Rory in the first volume, he killed Billy's dad in the second volume, and tried to kill Victor, ended up killing his teacher in the last volume.
That was apparently his favorite teacher, which I did not realize.
Yeah, right, as well as fuckface. So like he's pretty much numb to killing at this point, and it's a useful thing for him to have while he's fighting for his life.
I mean, it seems like he's got all the emotional killings out of the way.
Pretty much. And while this is happening, Petra leads Marcus into like a janitor's closet, because they pretty much get surrounded by these cheerleaders. But Marcus takes a notice that like Petra isn't really fighting back at all, and it's like he thinks it's kind of sketch. Like, why the hell was she even here? Like, why was she even in the school if you're not fighting back? But yeah, while this is happening, we see Victor and Victor basically like grab a rat that Shabnan points out to him, and Victor basically sadistically just like chokes this kid out, and it's like very brutal and very violent. And
he hit him with the brass knuckle too.
That's true, he did. He beat his face to a pulp pretty much. But also like we noticed that the fact that like Shabnan is basically pointing people out, rats out, and basically telling whoever kills them that he is gonna get half credit, pretty much. And while Shabnan's talking to Victor, Victor's basically questioning like, yo, like, he's like, why are you being a narc? Like to Shabnan, why are you being a narc? You're supposed to be killing these kids along with you. He's like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Like my plan. So basically, he's like, listen, man, like we can help each other, because like while you guys have been partying and just being dumb teenagers, I've been collecting dirt on every single kid in this school, so he knows where the rats are, who the rats are, where they're most likely to be at, where they'll be hiding, and basically wants to make a temporary alliance with himself and his bully, basically. And basically, what gets Victor to agree with this is the fact that like the only exceptions, like the only thing that Shabnan wants is to be there when when Victor kills their little Nicaraguan friend, which is true. Marcus. Because
Marcus.
Because last volume Marcus tried to kill Victor and failed.
Marcus also took the flower of Shabnan's love.
Yeah.
They slept together, and then he called her the troll.
Well, yeah, we'll get into the reasons of why Shabnan wants to take out Marcus. But yeah, so while this is happening, Petra and Marcus are in the closet trying to figure out what else to do, because they're trapped by these cheerleaders. And basically, we get the reveal of like why Petra doesn't really like do hand-to-hand combat. And while she's mixing up these chemicals, and Marcus is questioning what's going on. And while this is happening, a jock, a quarterback actually, by the name of Derp Flumdunger, who I'm guessing is a part of the Dixie Mob because that's such a redneck inbred ass name.
It
is about to basically charge through, and the cheerleaders are going crazy because he's the star quarterback or whatever on the football team. And while he bursts in, Petra,
I think it's fun they have a football team here still.
It's great. Like, I think that's kind of funny. And while this is happening, Derp bursts in and gets basically gets thrown chemicals at his face.
No, I think he runs headfirst into the sink where they're mixing the chemicals.
Oh, does he?
That's what I got out of it.
Oh yeah, he does. Basically, like, Petra opens the door, he runs into the sink where she was mixing all these chemicals, and basically Marcus and Petra basically kind of flank them and throw these chemicals at the cheerleaders, killing them all, and they all like scream in agony. It's revealed that like Petra's specialty within the school is that she got an honor roll in poison, and so basically that makes her a poison expert, which I thought was really cool. And she basically mixed she made chloramine, which is a mix of ammonia and bleach. So take that of note, people that are watching this, but don't actually make it, because we don't condone
condone the creation of that substance.
Yeah. It transitions to this Steven, who is one of the rats that is being chased that is being hunted after. He's actually doing a pretty good job fending for himself. He's punching him, taking him out, and but unfortunately he's about to get like shot in the face by one of these students who noticed that he got the rat bones in the first place, which is how she knew he was a rat. And she gets an axe to the fucking head by Kendall, who people don't remember is the leader of the preps. And basically Kendall Steven and Kendall take out all of these various legacy kids, and it is and then basically it's like Steven is basically like Kendall's telling Steven to calm down, like we can do this together, and it's like we knew this was coming, and we like you should hide, like go to a hiding spot, I'll hold him off as long as I can. He's like, Kendall, don't do this, and he's like, you're a rat and like I'm a legacy, like this can happen. And Kendall gives Steven a kiss, and he's saying like, you would do the same for me, now go, and then just takes his axe and charges.
The Romeo and Juliet.
It is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like I thought that was like very right. You said very Romeo and Juliet. And it transitions to Dan, who is revealed to be Lex's best friend. People remember Lex. Lex died in the last issue. In the last issue, by El Diablo's crew. And basically, Shabnam
unceremoniously shot through the head.
Yeah, it was brutal. And Shabnam sneaks up behind him and is like, hey, like, I know like Lex was your best friend, and I know like it must be sad and all, but I think you want to know the truth of like how he actually died and who got him killed. So Shabnam's planting seeds here. Transition again to a girl about to be killed by her boyfriend, because she revealed to her boyfriend that she was a rat during the start of the semester, which was a big mistake, because he was going to kill her regardless, because he knows that because he's like, I think he mentioned that like his dad, he knows like she knows what his dad will do to him if he doesn't graduate with honors, so he has to kill her. And then she gets rescued by our boy Billy, by him taking his skateboard, taking a fire extinguisher and cracking him in the dome. And then she proceeds to kill him, which is kind of wild. And his thing,
try to kill him. She does not succeed.
Tries to kill him and fails because and fails due to Saya and Billy intervening. And Saya and Billy are basically like trying to protect Billy, trying to get him to a safe place. And it's very sweet on their part. And while they're we'll go out the hallway, they notice Marcus and Petra walking past them, and basically like Billy's saying like, yo, like Billy, like Willie's saying to Billy, you're our people, we gotta protect you. Then he sees Marcus and Petra walk past him, so Billy makes the decision to go with them, because even though Saya and Willie have good intentions, their legacies and he's still a rat. They can't protect him, so he has to basically stick with his own. And I thought that was like, it's sad, but like it makes sense. And even though Saya tries to stop him and Billy is disagreeing with, and Billy is also is also worried for Billy's safety, Billy inevitably agrees, like he's still right though. And
listen, rats live with rats.
Exactly. So yeah, after that it transitions to Shabnam, and Shabnam in this kind of like makeshift war room that he set up for himself. He has the preps, he has some of the Russians, he has some of the First World Order showing up, he has the Dicks, he has the whole, pretty much the entire, like all of the various cliques in his, like in this war room, and he's basically giving them orders, telling them where to go, where these rats are gonna most likely gonna hide, so they can all basically get kill them, and also kill them so they can get not only credit, but as well as but the catch is that like they also have to give him credit as well because he helped. And he's doing this because it is revealed that he has pretty much dirt on every single kid, which he has credit on every single kid in the school, and he has leverage on and dirt on every single one of them. So he's basically like using.
He's a man of information.
Everybody. What was that, Demoan?
A man of information.
Pretty much. And it's kind of wild. And he reveals to while he's talking with the First World Order kids, he basically is telling them like, hey, listen, man, like he has a meeting talking about Willie and how he knows that Willie's rep is bullshit, and that what they should do in order for them to like, it'd be better for the First Order to take him out so that he won't be a problem for the clique throughout the course of the entire like until graduation, pretty much, and they pretty much agree to do it, like, and it's kind of wild. And then he gets a report from this guy named Demoan that Marcus they saw Marcus on the South Line, and he and a couple others are heading to leave King's Dominion and into the outside world, and then basically what he does is he looks at Victor and he says like, and he basically sends Victor as basically like his kill. Victor and two other Russian kids as basically his kill squad, and to go hunt.
I love that they're identical twins, the other two.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's cool, right? And while this is happening, the troll, who I forget, is her name Darla? I think that's her name. Something like that. I don't want.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna refer to her as the troll for now. So the troll comes up with him and says that the Jersey Kings had a meeting, and they're gonna basically like they stand with Shabnam, and he's like, "What about you?" And then he's like, "I'll do whatever you say." And then he said, "Okay." And then basically he smiles, sits down like a fucking maniacal genius boss motherfucker, and says, "Let's start with a back rub." And that's how issue 17 ends. So starts on issue 17.
I think this is. I don't want to start off and say that this is one of my favorite issues in the whole. I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot, just because this whole event is so great. But this is a really strong start. I like seeing all the moving pieces and all the things that they had going on in the background.
And the thing is, like, I just remembered something. Kendall called it. Like he told Marcus during the last issue of Volume 3 that he said that there was a rumor that Shabnam was gunning for him, and he didn't know why. So, I like this issue a lot, just because basically it's cementing that the villain of this arc is Shabnam, is the kid that no one the kid that everyone that he invisible
the kid who drank bong water and puked a few issues ago.
Yeah, the kid that is taken advantage of by pretty much and bullied and taken advantage of by every kid in that school. Even Marcus, who is his quote unquote friend, is the villain of this arc. It's basically just like, have you ever seen like Revenge of the Nerds, like that like classic movie from the 80s? It's that. It's literally that. I think it's so smart.
It really feels like it.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I thought this issue was great.
Because I was also surprised that he didn't end up as one of the rats.
Who
Shabnam.
Shabnam? Well, I mean,
they said his father was a legacy banker, but
yeah,
he's pretty scummy. So I would have expected it.
Well, he's considered a prep. So like, or I guess I think he's considered a prep because his dad's a banker. But like,
maybe unaligned.
Yeah, but yeah, I just think it's so funny that like he's been planting seeds and just getting dirt on as many people as he can to blackmail for the exam, for the final exam, pretty much. I think it's very. Anything is like he's very intelligent due to the fact and the fact that he's extremely intelligent, clearly, and the fact that he was very underestimated throughout the entire series so far. It is what makes him so dangerous, I think. I love that, so yeah. I love this issue a lot. And the thing is, before Rebecca sent us some notes because she's not here, and she wants to give her thoughts out. So I'm gonna read them to her.
She's here with us in spirit, which is
exactly
one of the most important parts.
Exactly. So she said for the first issue for issue 17, she's like, I know it's a school for assassins, but I love that no one hesitated to start killing people. Facts. And it's just Shabnam girl bossing. It's kind of good for her moment, but then he also immediately ruins it. So I think Shabnam girl bossing is kind of good for her moment, but then he also immediately ruins it. What's she referring to?
What?
Yeah, Shabnam girl bossing. Rebecca, I need some clarity here.
Who? I mean,
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Shabnam girl bossing is kind of good for his moment, but then he also immediately ruins it. Okay, gotcha. So he
Oh, I
considers
see what you're saying. I
considers
see.
Shabnam a girl boss, which is it's kind of hilarious.
It's fitting for him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So yeah, hashtag Shabnam the girl boss. Let's go. Shabnam the queen. But yeah. Any more thoughts on 17, Demoan, before we move on to 18? Or I'm trying to think of anything else. I do like the stuff with Petra and Marcus. I like that, like, you know, that reveal, like, yeah, like she, like, again, like, even though she's not fighting back, she still did learn she just did learn a thing or two at King, which is, you know, making poison and stuff. And she's effective when she does it. So
listen, poisons are a perfectly legit and honest to God traditional way to murder people. So I respect a good poisoner.
Yeah. What do you think of like, again, I really do also like the reveal with Kendall and Steven, how like Kendall's been
gay.
Kendall's been a gay icon this entire time.
You could tell by the pink shirt.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I think like the Kendall and Steven stuff is good. The stuff with Saya and Willie, you know, even though like they have acted like they kind of dreaded the final exam. They seem very hesitant on what's going on. The fact that, like, you know, some of the people that they actually care about are rats, and they want to, like, you know, have their cake and eat it too, and, like, you know, they need to get the credit to, like, move on. And we're gonna learn why, you know, Saya is very keen on, you know, making sure that she passes the final, she gets to the final exam, but, like, you know, they still want to protect, you know, their friends, you know, where the thing is, like, you know, but again, that may be a detriment in this situation, you know. But yeah, that's all I gotta say with that. But yeah, all right. So we're gonna move on to issue 18, Demoan.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So
no more thoughts for me.
All right, good. So issue 18, people. I actually like this cover. This cover's cool.
Right? Japanese flag in the background.
Mm-hmm. With the Japanese flag in the background. I think that's supposed to be Willie, actually.
Is it Willie or one of his?
Or one of the kids from, like, the First World Order, from FWO. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the cover gallery real quick. I mean,
I think you're right. I think it is Willie.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be Willie. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. Very simple. Obviously, it's going to be, I guess, teasing more of a Saya Willie focused issue. So yeah, I like this cover a lot. So it transitions to, so it starts off with, you know, again, starts off with Marcus, Billy, and Petra outside of the school now. So we get a view of what's happening on, like, the outside, like the campus grounds, especially in the graveyard. More murdering happening. Like, it's just like people are getting clapped left and right. It is a bloodbath.
But not my boy Paulie.
Not our boy Paulie. So and Marcus is basically, like, you know, again, narrating and talking about how, like, you know, like, the world, like, the idea of the world is, like, the world's job is supposed to break you, and how, like, you know, a conveyor belt that chews up living things and spits out bones, our job is to run in the other direction and see how long we can hold it off. And it's like not for me and my friends from the look of things. So basically talking about, like, you know, how he thinks the world works, especially in this situation, in terms of, you know, how, you know, even how the rats are perceived in King's Dominion, is great. But yeah, so they're outside of the school, like, trying to hide, and it's and they meet up with this kid named Paulie, who apparently knows them all, and if he's at class with them, but they have no memory of who this kid is, and it's like, I think it's kind of hilarious. And Marcus's plan is to basically, like, have, you know, to leave the school grounds, go topside, because I guess King's Dominion's underground, which, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Right. I figure it's in, like, the sewer or something.
Yeah. And basically try to, and Marcus is convinced he can keep him alive because, you know, he's lived on the streets for so long, he's pretty much an expert. And you know, it's funny because, like, when Paulie shows up, they're just like, he's trying to be like, hey, like, Billy, like, we had chemistry class together, and, like, you know, blah blah blah, and he's like, yeah, I have no idea who you are, Red Shirt. They just refer to him as Red Shirt, but like, you know, it's my lucky shirt. Everybody knows that I'm Paulie. Like everybody loves me. And while this is happening, Paulie gets while Paulie's getting scoped out by Victor and like on like the rooftop with a sniper rifle, and the two of them tell him to take a shot. And he's just like, no, not Paulie.
My favorite part is he looks genuinely sad when he decides to not to take the shot.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, it never gets explained in this volume. But like, what kind of rep does Paulie have, bro? Like, why does everyone love Paulie so much?
What do you mean? Everyone loves him. He's there for everybody, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I guess so. Like, but he does say that like the others, and the others deserve, they don't deserve a clean death. He wants them to like pretty much be brutalized. So, and Victor plans to hunt, basically make them hunt. Victor hopes that they leave because he wants to hunt them like animals, pretty much. So basically, like they come with a plan to leave, to go topside. They're gonna take Paulie with them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So it transitions to pretty much Shabman like monologuing, and it's I think like
goddamn mafia boss smoking a cigar at the window.
Dude, it's kind of baller, and like the thing is, like he's not really monologuing. It's like there's like another narrator like narrating like Shabman's thoughts like while he's thinking them. I think it's like really cool. And he basically is basically talking about how like like him like surveying the campus, and him like basically going through the like his thoughts on like what's going on, the fact that like he is scoping out the rat. He's scoping out the rats and giving all the info to the various students to take out as many rats as they can, and basically like and the fact that like being bullied, being picked on actually had its advantages because he learned so much from everyone else, because everyone was out there being distracted, being idiots, while he basically planned for this the entire time. And most importantly, like even like he's mostly, while he's staring outside and waiting for a report on Marcus, because Marcus is the reason why he's after Marcus, because Marcus didn't invite him to the parties, to any of the parties. He also slept with Darla, who again he said was like the love of his life, and the fact that like Marcus staying alive makes him just more and more angry, pretty much. So then while this is happening, Kendall walks in and refers to him as Piggy, which was Shabnam's nickname, which is Shabnam's like one of Shabnam's nicknames, and and he's talking about how like it's pretty much like Lord of the Flies out there, and like what he's actually doing is like he's actually like he's playing the game, he's playing his hands, trying to do this a smart way. And the fact that like his dad told him about how like he killed 3 rats in his day, and like he's setting up an expectation for Shabnam to pass the final exam, and he's like in fact like saying like Kendall calls him out for only taking credit on people's kills because he's not doing it himself. And the thing is like he's planning on writing to Master Lin about it, and Shabnam does what Shabnam does, and is telling people like how would like Master Lin how would Master Lin react to hearing that like Kendall's telling Shabnam, he's planning on writing to Master Lin, telling him the fact that like how would he feel the fact that his dad, like Shabnam's dad, broke the vow he's supposed to take about the final exam, which is savage that like those legacies aren't supposed to know about the final exam. It's supposed to be very as impromptu as possible to test them.
Right. Like Marcus trying to figure out that the classes were like split in half. It was
but Marcus figured it out on his own. But like apparently the legacy kids aren't supposed to know about this, which is interesting. And the fact that Shabnam knew about it and planned for it was kind of a violation. And he mentioned the whole banker thing, and And also the fact that that by the and also Chapman mentioned something about Kendall's dad, the fact that he in his day as an assassin for the CIA, he killed no fewer than 11 women and children in their homes while they slept, which is brutal. And he said that children are especially he never told you, and then Kendall gets fed up and he's and basically threatens to stab Chapman for it. And then Chapman goes on a rant and basically that reveals to Kendall that he knows that the reason why the class, especially that he took within King's Dominion, is lock picking, because he loves the fact that just a door and a lock is what separates people's secrets, and basically lock picking allows him access to people's private information, along with the fact that he knows that Kendall is in a homosexual relationship with Steven, and Steven is a rat, and he knew that Kendall would protect Steven during the final exam. But most importantly, the fact that he reveals that because he was watching them, he saw them do things to each other, he saw their hiding spots, and he ended up taking pictures
of it.
He took pictures of it all happening. He took multiple pictures and gave it to an anonymous student who's out there right now. Anonymous Legacy is out there right now. And if anything happens to Shabnam, or if he doesn't do what Shabnam asks for, just Shabnam tells him he's going to leak them to his dad, which is a bad idea because his dad's a very right-wing, politician,
anti-gay,
and very anti-gay. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And basically, he's and I love the fact that he says this line is now I ensure now to ensure I make valedictorian, I need credit for his kill. So he wants him to go after Marcus. And he's like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's like now this time you go do my fucking homework. And I was like, bro, it is. He has the fact that he has so many kids by the ball because of what he knows is just insane. And then freaking
knowledge is power, man.
Yeah, and then Darla is so turned on by this that she starts making out with him.
It's true. My favorite line at the end of that is Machiavelli could eat my chode, and her response is someone's gonna.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. I just think that's a real funny response.
Yeah. It's wild. So it transitions to Saya and Willie running towards the school library, and Willie's questioning yo, why are we running? We should be should we be hiding? And Saya's no, we're not running, we're luring, because they're being chased by the First World Order.
There's a
Willie's crew that was sent by Shabnam to go kill him in the last issue. And while this is happening, some of the guys are questioning what's his name, Jimmy, who's the guy's taking the lead here. The fact that the fact that they're chasing him and not just going and guns blazing, think he's being soft. So to prove this, he fucking shoots the school mascot, who the school's dog.
Dude, that was wild when he shot the dog.
Yeah, and just to basically tell him basically as a way to tell him to shut the fuck up and don't question him. So while they're hiding, while Saya and Willie are hiding, basically Saya's getting ready to move, is getting ready to prepare herself to defend herself, but Willie's hesitating because Willie has a gun on him, and she's trying to get Willie to be able to defend himself, obviously because Willie doesn't like killing people due to what happened in his past,
just because he's normal,
or it's because he's normal, yeah, because he has a heart, and he says if you know they're gonna kill you, and he's like, oh, listen, I'm gonna freeze up, and he's like, listen, man, I know the story, I see and she understands the fact that he understands why Willie needed to hide in order to protect himself from everyone at King's, due to the fact that in terms of how everyone would perceive him as, they would perceive him as soft and be a target. So he understands why he did what he did, but in fact she doesn't see that as weakness, she sees that as strength because he's true to himself. But when he reveals that what he told Saya wasn't the true story of what happened. And you know, it's revealed that, you know, because the last time we saw the origin, Willie basically revealed that, you know, I believe it was the fact that remind me, Demoan, because I'm losing my train of thought. The fact that Willie, his uncle, his dad, like shot everybody and got himself killed.
So the way it was is the gang came in, shot the dad,
yeah,
and then the uncle followed close after and killed
and then
all the
shot
gang members.
Yeah, and shot everyone else, and then shot everyone else.
And then handed the gun to Billy and said, "Hey, take the credit."
And take the credit. So
or Willie, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, for him to take the credit. So, but the real story is, and I'll give you a fun fact about this after I'm done explaining it. But the real story is the fact that when the guys came in, Willie actually grabbed a gun along with his father, even though his father told him never to grab any of the guns, but Willie wanted to be brave just like him. Ended up spraying, shot the gangsters, and also ended up shooting his dad in the back of the head by accident due to the kickback. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's the reason why he's gone through this whole pacifist mentality.
Why he's not allowed to use guns. What?
Exactly. And then she basically just said, like, you know, and Sai comforts him, saying like, "Jesus Christ, that's terrible." Kiss him on the forehead. Kiss him on the forehead, and it's just like, "Listen, man, like, you were never gonna have a choice, regardless if you were able, regardless to pull that trigger or not. Even if you decided due to your upbringing, like, you're gonna have a gun in your hand regardless." So like, and plus it wasn't. And she also said, like, it was his dad's death wasn't on him. It was because his dad also was a gangster and a bad dude. So it was karma just coming back around. Know what I mean? He was gonna get what was coming to him eventually, even if Billy wanted to or not. So yeah. And while these guys catching up to him, these guys coming up to him, and you know, they're talking if it should split up or not, and Jimmy's talking about how that's a dumb idea, and Saya does what Saya does and does some badass Yakuza shit and ends up sneaking up on all of them and uses her katana to start, you know, slicing them up, but she ends up getting shot. She ends up getting shot in the process. And I love these pages that like they have. It's really badass. While she's on the ground, Jimmy's basically taunting her about, yo, like, you know, like he didn't understand why like Willie was hiding behind her, and you know, it was like, but while this was happening, while Willie was dating her, he wanted to, yo, like he needed peace for himself. While he's about to pull the trigger, he gets shot in the back of the head by Willie, and Willie basically defends, perhaps save Saya from getting killed. And while this is happening, while that happens, they're hearing an announcement of the intercom. Master Lin summons Willie and Saya to the principal's to his office to talk. And
I think an important note back there is after Willie takes the shot at his boy, or ex-boy, I guess, he has this little like mental breakdown at Saya, being like, "Hey, your sword was really close. I've seen you grab that thing fast. Why didn't you do it?" And she's like, "I don't know, man. I didn't grab the sword. I don't know what to tell you." But he's having a little breakdown, thinking she did it intentionally, just to get him to kill somebody.
Just to get him to kill somebody. Yeah. Nice point, man. Because I didn't catch that one. So while they're at Master Lin's office, Master Lin is not happy, not happy at all. Because he noticed the fact that that Willie and Saya managed to not only like not kill any rats at all, but managed to have Marcus as well as Petra and Saya and Paulie escape the grounds, which is a no-no because they have a potential,
and kill two of his guards
as well as Master Zane, due to Marcus accidentally killing him in the last volume. And he blames all of it on them. and he understands that that the importance of both of them, uh, graduating, at the top of their class due to like their families, what's it called, expectations from them, especially Saya. And he puts a lot of emphasis on Saya and the fact that Marcus was her pledge. It was her responsibility to take care of him, to take care of him, make sure that he didn't, and make sure that he actually like didn't escape, the rat purge, and so like everything hangs on the balance because if they expose the school, it's going to be a whole host of problems. And so he tells them to both to go finish their assignment for the sake of not only their lives but also their family's expectations as well. And if he doesn't, and I love the fact that we get this last moment where he said, "And pray you don't live to see what this old man is capable of." And that's how this issue ends. So that's on issue 18.
Mm-hmm. Strong issue. I love the Master Lin pep talk. How he's like, "You guys, it's your fault that these children escaped my school grounds full of trained killers."
Exactly. It's kind of wild that it's funny because the way Lin is portrayed in the book is very different. It's a little different from him in the show. He's a lot way. He's a lot more of like the maniacal, like he's a bad dude in this book. Like he's a bad dude in this series, straight up. Like,
yeah, he's kind of just evil here, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty evil in this series. In the show, they try to make him a little bit more sympathetic. In the show, but I think actually I like a little better. But I mean, it's either here or there. It's either here or there. But yeah, I love the fact that this is more of a Willie and Saya focused issue. The fact that Willie, like Saya's kind of, even though she understands why Willie doesn't want to kill anyone, but at the same time she understands that they don't have a choice because not only for the sake of their lives, but what their families are going to do to them if they don't graduate kings. So she's trying to look out for him, even though more that's not who Willie is. And I really like that kind of like that comedy they have between each other. And the fact that like Side isn't more hesitant to kill somebody, but he does. And the fact that that's their relationship in terms of like them as a couple, like their differences, I think is very interesting. Marcus Shabnam, again, just like I love the fact that Shabnam is just I love that scene he has with Kendall. The fact that he spills the tea on Kendall's sexuality, and the fact that he's going to expose it to his father, which gets Kendall to basically kiss the ring. I think it's so good.
Dude, that was fucking crazy. The reveal that he even had information that deep.
Yeah, he said he has not only his photos but the love letters that he was hiding, that he see the love letters that he hid in his room as well.
Copies of them.
Yeah, copies.
Just copies.
Yeah, and then he's gonna send it all to his dad just to get him to kiss the ring. That was great.
He even had the forethought to say like, "Hey, if you kill me, there are people who are out of the school to have this also."
Mm-hmm. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool, and especially because a lot of stuff with like we really see like why, like what goes on in his mind and how like he just doesn't like Marcus. He wants to kill Marcus over honestly small petty high school drama.
Right?
That's crazy stuff, I think it's nuts. Which again, moral of the story, people don't bully people because this shit'll happen. Not like in an assassin school type of way. Listen, like they could be dangerous. And it really shows with Shabnam's character. I want to read what Rebecca's thoughts are. So she said that she liked the rat teammate Paulie, because Paulie is literally giving us nothing why he's here. Like he doesn't say why he's there. He's like, "I'm Paulie, save me." I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, he tries to give his reason as being okay that I'm Paulie.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. And she also notes that Saya really is always scheming but her making Lily kill would be doing him a favor if he wasn't too soft for this world. Which, I mean, hey, I mean, is it fucked up? Yes,
Yeah.
but like, it's she doesn't because
he's not going to survive in a world of killers if he's not going to kill.
Yeah, like that's the thing with King's Dominion, which is why I like Willie as a character. Like, even though Willie has a good heart, having a good heart in King's Dominion isn't going to what's going to get you through King's Dominion at all. Like, it's to his detriment.
That's a weakness, in fact. Which is unfortunate to say.
It's unfortunate to say, but she also views it as a strength because, you know, at least she doesn't view it as a weakness because, you know, she likes that quality. Like he's
right, because he doesn't see it. He likes that King Dominion hasn't really changed him, and that like he has been a good person since coming. Yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing with, and this, I'm gonna close this thought. I'm gonna close it out on this thought here. Here's what I was saying from Michelle. So the reveal that Willie was the one that grabbed the gun and accidentally killed his dad in this issue. So in the show, that's the actual that was his initial story he told to Marcus off rip. He doesn't give him a revised vision. That's the story that he tells. So that's the difference between that the book and the show version. So I don't know what your thoughts on that, Demoan. Do you like that they just went through like this initial reveal of him killing his dad straight up, or would you have preferred maybe in the show they did what they do in the book with this slight, you know, altercation of what actually happened? Start off and then do the reveal. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I think both ways were good. I think I like a little bit more the way the comic did it. That just might be my bias because I haven't seen the show yet. But yeah, that's.
I personally like the show a lot more the way they do that show more because it cements. Because him being the one that accidentally killed his dad cements him more, not really just being afraid of killing, but like, because in this book he's more so afraid of killing. In the show, he's more of like a straight up pacifist due to what happened to his dad. Will do what he did. You know, like he's against violence at all. Like, you know, so yeah, I kind of like that one better, but that's just me. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So we'll move on to the third issue,
19?
issue number 19, and I love this cover. I love this cover. I love the contrast with the cold cover with the light blue and like the kind of like the neon purple. What? Oh, say that again. You kind of cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. This is my favorite cover in this whole volume.
Yeah, it's really dope.
Right.
But yeah,
I love the pinks and the blues and the way they're all falling, jumping down. It's a real nice image.
And I love they're all using their signature weapons. Freaking Billy with the club, Marcus with the spiked baseball bat, and then Petra with like a Molotov cocktail. I love that. I think it's really awesome.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, this issue starts off with kind of like a little like random like tangent where we get placed in this kind of like the small record store, and this kid buying a record from his band called the B-15s, which the clerk
B-52s.
B-52s, my fault. What the clerk figures is for a gift for like his girlfriend, but then they go into a spiel on like how the kid thinks that this band is great, and due to how like, you know, nuanced and how sensitive they are, it's not just heavy metal and heavy rock music. But the other guys while the other clerk thinks it's bullshit, and the fact that he would rather prefer to get a bullet in the brain than to actually listen to this album. and he literally, I think something hilarious. I think he said that he listened to he said he would rather listen to Rock Lobster, which he has multiple times in a row, than listen to this. And the fact that he said he get a bullet in the brain. And while he says that and gives it to the customer, gives to this kid, Billy rushes through and is like, you know, everyone get the fuck out of here. And they think he's just a crazy punk kid, just like trying to cause a riot. But the store ends up
I think he's some kind of vagrant.
Yeah, the store ends up getting lit up and like by Victor and his two twin students. Everybody in that store gets murked, and turns out the store clerk got his wish. He got both the head after all. So it's hilarious, kind of ironic. So yeah, Billy is basically fighting. Basically, is running through like alleys, He runs through like a Chinese restaurant. And is about to get like smacked the hell up by these by the cooks in the kitchen, and they also get shut up, which leads him jumping out of a window and like landing.
2-story window.
He plummets like 2 stories like onto the ground and ends up like getting pretty banged up, while Victor just does a freaking superhero landing onto a fucking car. Like for some reason, I don't know what Victor is eating in like communist Russia, but he's like superhuman. It is ridiculous.
He's on the Gaston diet. 5 dozen eggs in the morning.
Pretty much. And I love the fact that like while he does the superhero land on top of his car, the other 2 twins like he's into the alley, but like we're gonna like not do what you did. We'll just take the stairs. We'll just catch up with you. It's kind of wild.
And then he calls them fucking soft.
Yeah, he calls them soft because in communist
for
Russia,
not jumping out of a window.
Yeah, because in communist Russia, recess is jumping out the window with no problem.
Yes. Make father proud.
They taught me how to jump out the window and land with no issue at age 5. But yeah, so he ends up chasing Billy into this alley, and he's basically like he's basically making very homophobic jokes and is talking about how like what he thinks Willie like Willie going to this alley is probably gonna like he's basically gonna have Willie suck him off, and he refers to as you hope to have mouth sucking on sturdy Soviet rocket. And then,
that's right, his Sputnik.
His Sputnik. Yeah, like, I'll let you taste my Sputnik. And Billy comes up from behind and from out of a garbage can, and then just smacks Victor with like a crowbar to the back of the head.
I think it's rebar, like the stuff they use in concrete. Yeah.
Yeah. He takes some rebar and smacks Billy. It smacks Victor in the back of the head, and you think, oh, like Billy has the upper hand here. He has the element of surprise, and nope, Victor just catches his shit and then starts beating the living crap out of him. And while the fight is going on, Billy talks about how like all the gay jokes is exactly what his dad used to say to him a lot, which like and then how it doesn't really faze him, and at the same time, Victor's taunting him the fact that how he thinks that like Americans, dumb American boys having daddy issues is just stupid, and like it just makes them soft, and it's kind of wild.
Yes, because Victor has no father issues.
Exactly. He has no dad issues, and we get a kind of like a little reveal about like a little backstory on like his childhood and his father. So his dad was his dad was like the most revered like KGB assassin, and he was a very hard man on him. And at the time, so there was one moment in Shadow where when he was a kid, British assassins came to his house to kill his father, even though his father wasn't home. And he tried to defend his family, but he was scrawny and he was too weak, so they overpowered him, and they ended up raping and killing his mother and sisters to make an example of his dad, to make an example of his father, and of what of his dad's exploits, of what he did while he was working in London, in retaliation, pretty much. And his dad was so disgusted with him that he beat him near to death and wouldn't even look at him, and sent him to King's years later to have him become a man. And he spent every moment throughout his entirety of his life to making himself turning his body into a weapon in order to earn the respect of his father, and to love and honor are not rights as the whining American baby demands. He said he thinks that stuff has to be earned like badges. And while he's getting, he gets a knife, and is about to, which is his father's knife, and he's basically gonna like gut Billy like a fish, gut Billy like a fish in order in honor of his father, and and basically while he's monologuing, and he friends like, oh, like I'm gonna cut your skin off, then your dick, then your eyes, and then Billy takes out a piece of glass, and he's like, oh, like what is this? You're gonna come in with some glass? Please cut me. Like I'll let you die with some dignity, and then he's basically just like he's like you should have followed the rules. You should have lived harder. Should have lived cleaner, studied harder. And like nothing like life advice from someone living on an inheritance. And in fact, and basically Willie cuts a piece of rope, which releases this trap of like this piece of concrete attached to like some rope, and it basically smacks Victor in the back, getting him. I'm having him pinned onto like a piece of like a brick like wall, and he gets basically just sandwiched in between. It's brutal.
It's ugly.
Yeah, and it's revealed that Billy, even though Billy goofed around a lot, he also did learn a thing or two from Kings as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this scene a lot. I thought it was really awesome. But also the fact that even though Victor's talking about like how privileged, how soft and just sad Billy is, or like his daddy issues. Now we think that's weak. And how how Victor, trying to like make his dad proud through following the rules and working hard and studying harder. Billy still calls him out on being a privileged jock, though, which he still is.
Mm-hmm.
Like this really has a tragic backstory. Just like even some of the rats, he's still a legacy anyway. He's still gonna have an advantage throughout the school, unlike the rats that have to earn their way to get into Kings after surviving the exam. I think it's very interesting.
Like no one's hunting him right now.
Exactly, and I think it's a very good point that Billy made. And it turns out that to Marcus that wasn't the plan, and that he was supposed to learn from the other alley, and that and Billy's like, yeah, I kind of had to change the plans because I kind of jumped out a window and got my ass beat after he caught up to me. And then
that fucker Polly abandoned him.
Yeah, Polly left and just abandoned him. So while Billy kind of is kind of weak and kind of passed out, one of the twins catches up and thinks that they killed Victor, and Victor looks pretty dead to me. So Petra throws a balloon of more of that chemical she made, and
chloramine, I think she called it before. Yeah, if it's the same stuff.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. And throws it in this guy's face, and then he dies as well. And while Marcus is about to reach for his gun, Yusuf, who is the brother of this guy, catches up to him, and basically they make a run for it. And while this is happening, while they make a run for it and to find cover, see Dan, who Shabnam talked to in issue 1, is aiming a bow and arrow at him and pointing it at him, saying this is for Lex. He releases it, and that's an arrow with an explosive arrowhead, and it blows up, leading them to fall into runoff river thing that you see in cities and shit. And at this point, Billy's not having it. Billy's not having it at this point, and he's basically having a panic attack and being like, "Listen, I can't do this anymore. I want to give up. He's tired of being at the school because we don't want to. He thinks that even though we're rats, even though we don't want to earn our place at the school because he doesn't want to end up like these people, being a killer that his father wanted him to be. And he said he'd rather die than be like them. So what he'd rather do, he's begging Marcus and Petra, listen, we gotta just fuck Kings. Let's just get the hell out of here. Let's just run. Just find some place to just find some place to lay low and just restart our lives. And and after Marcus and Petra look at each other, he said, yeah, let's just do that. Let's just run. But first we need to lose them. And Marcus has a place that he can hide at, pretty much. and yeah, so then while so then Dan tries to catch up to them, try to take him out. They're gone, and basically he meets up with Victor, and Victor is revealed to still be alive after getting pinned by fucking cinder block. It is ridiculous.
He's like a sturdy man.
He's too sturdy in this book for no reason, and Victor's like trying to stop Dan from killing them because those are his credits, and basically like Yusuf kind of goes in between them and is like, listen, like three of them, like there's three of them, one for each of us, which that killing each of them would guarantee each of us honorable anyway. So they basically like have a mutual, they can make a mutual alliance here, and basically like yeah, and it's like yeah, like Dan agrees, but Victor says I'll join you with, on one condition, that Billy is the one he's gonna kill.
Mm-hmm. So that no longer after our Nicaraguan friend.
No longer after Marcus.
Well, Billy is, but Billy is more priority at least.
Yeah. So the transitions back to Kings, and I love the fact I didn't put this. I don't have this page here, but it's just like we just see a shot of the front of the school, and it's just bodies everywhere, and it's just like yeah. I'll full screen you, Demoan. Give me a second. I'll full screen it to do a solo layout.
It's a little bit of glare.
Yeah, it's a little glare, but yeah, they're just bodies everywhere, and it's just like Jesus Christ. It's very brutal. And it turns into Shabnam feeling on some titties, feeling on Deborah's on Deborah's boobs because she feels that he's earned it after getting all the influence of the entire school and getting credit for all these kills. And then while this is happening, he gets a phone call. The phone starts ringing, and the phone starts ringing, and he ends up, answering it. And he's saying like, "What?" He's like, "What? I'm listening." And he's like, "That's fair." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you get it done, and I guarantee you will be, I guarantee you will be safe." And it is. Deborah asks, "Oh, like who was that?" And he says, he reveals to be one desperate rat. So a rat. He just spoke to a rat so a rat just pleaded for safety if he gets something done for him. So it transitions to the place that Marcus decided to hide at, which I love, and it's revealed the place that like this place they're gonna make a save house in is Fuckface Manor, which is
the last place he'd ever look.
Which is the last place.
Well, not last, but
I mean, yeah, but it's the last place he thinks the legacies will look for him because they don't know that he went after Fuckface. So basically, like their plan is to basically stay here because the last place anyone would ever look for them, to get patched up and to stay here as long as they can and recuperate. So basically they stay here as long as they can, get stitched up, recuperate, so they can get the hell out of the city. So then he ends up going to a room where he sees Billy at. He's asking if Billy's okay, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. You just snuck on. He just coming back for surprise for a little bit. And he said the water's still running. Let's get him cleaned up. And he was like, of course, man, thanks. And the issue ends with Billy exiting the room, and there's revealed to be a telephone there. And while Billy is going to the exit showers and water
covered in blood.
It's a telephone covered in blood, and that's how issue 18 ends. So 19 ends on issue 19.
Oof.
Yeah. It's Billy's apparently the person that spoke to Shabnam. Ooh. Billy's a narc.
Ooh.
I mean,
no, not my boy.
And I know, right? And it makes sense, like the way they've set up, like Billy in this issue is so paranoid and is so freaked out about like his current state right now, and just like wants to like get rid of it. It makes kind of sense to make him why he would plead a deal with Shabnam to make him survive, you know. But who knows? Maybe it's a nice little twist that could maybe be right or wrong, and I kind of like the way that Remender ends it.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of it too. I think this was I don't know. I think it's really tough to say, but I think this might have been my least favorite issue in the whole volume.
All right, why is that?
I still think it's a great issue. It's just I think the other issues they have a lot more action going on and they're a lot more interesting. And like you get like the last two issues are full of a bunch of reveals, I feel like. Like I feel like this is just a transition issue. Like it's a really good one though.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah, like I mean, this is a pretty like interesting twist, but it's mostly just set up for what's gonna happen in the next two issues. So yeah, it's a pretty much like even though there is some action in this one, but it is more of like a little bit of a grace period for a second, because the last two issues were extremely action heavy. There is action in this, but like it's more so of showcasing like the current state of Billy, Marcus, and Petra while they're like officially outside of King's Dominion.
It's really just one long chase scene that ends in them setting up a safe house.
Pretty much. It also sets up, but also like I do love the fact that we get to know more about Victor, because we don't really know much about Victor besides him just being a bloodthirsty a USSR kid, Soviet Union kid. But yeah, the fact that like the reason why he's so adamant on getting as many kills as possible so that he can earn the respect of his father due to what happened, due to him quote unquote failing his dad in his past. Even though he was a kid, it wasn't his fault, but obviously his bloodthirsty KGB assassin father's not going to care about that.
It's true.
Yeah, and I love the fact that like even that he's doing all of this. He's doing all of this just to get the respect of, just to be seen by his dad, just like how Billy wanted to be seen by his dad and be loved by his father. So like it kind of shows a similarity between the two of them, even though their motivations are drastically different. And I love that.
No, yeah, I agree. I think Victor as a character is just very interesting.
He is. He is. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, like, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much my takeaways from that. Not really much to say. But I do like Dan in this as well. Him he's just doing this just to get revenge on Lex, even though Lex makes sense because Lex died in a very fucked up way. So like, I get it, but also the fact that it's again Shabnam stirring the pot. Like I love that a lot because like he just tells we don't really know if what Shabnam what story that Shabnam actually said to Dan to motivate him to actually go after Marcus. So like it could have been, you could have told him the true story, or could have lied, about actually. So yeah, I like that a lot. But that's pretty much it, Demoan. So you want to move on to issue 20?
Yeah. So this is where I take over. So issue 20, we start with
it's my least favorite.
This is the cover for it. What?
It's my least favorite cover out of them all.
Yeah, this is my least favorite one.
It's nice, but like it's very simple, but it's still cool though.
No, yeah, I like the running effect. I think it gives a lot of the message that they're gonna be on the run for a lot of this issue, and like that's just kind of the energy it gives off. But there's not too like I love the pink and black cover, the pink, black, and blue one. This one not as much. It doesn't hit as hard for me.
Yeah, no, I get you. All right, so start us off.
Yep. So what I really like about this issue is the way it opens. It's like it's one of the journal entries of him like going over it. Marcus, that is. And he starts off with a specific line that is, better to suffer the consequences of living fearlessly than to grow comfortable, mold from high safely. And that's just him trying to say that was his push at a New Year's resolution, telling him to get out there more. But it kind of became this little slogan where it's like, wow, I go to an assassin school now, and for some reason that feels safer to me than living on the streets.
Yeah.
There's just so much uncertainty there, but at least I'm sure what's going to happen in this assassin school, even if it's not good. And he's okay with that. He can't stand the uncertainty. He can't stand being alone.
Yeah.
Which
And it's interesting because I love the fact that the point that he makes, the fact like, yeah, even if he runs away, he has to start back from square one all over again. So like,
right, because he'll be homeless again. He'll be alone again. That's a good one to point out. But he's going on about how he's alone, and then he goes on about this memory that he had with Maria, how they went to go see the swans, and he's just being a teenage boy, and he's trying not to be happy, and he's trying to be moody, but he can't help but be happy when he stares at the swans and holds her hand, and be happy with her being happy with him. But eventually it all comes back, and he's the moody little teenager that he is. And he walks off huffing, saying that this lake's just filled with insects. We don't really care about it. But then he goes on thinking about how it was right in front of him. The Sotos Vatos, they took, the cartel itself, not the Sotos Vatos. They took Maria. He was called to the office and everything right in front of his eyes, but he just didn't see it because everything lined up in his mind that she was just going to leave him. Because he was finally happy with her. He was finally getting to be happy. And that's when the world decided that he would take a big shit on him and that she would leave him. Didn't even consider that she might have got killed or kidnapped.
Exactly. And I love these pages. Like, I love this little, like, the flashback, like, him, like, recalling, like, his memories is in a very, like, cool, like, watercolor type of style.
Right?
A lot.
It's a nice contrast from, like, the rest of the actual, especially you can see it when it starts to blend with, like, the regular style of the book. So that's my favorite one. But then we come up on Saya and our boy Willie. They found the trap that was set. They said it was called a Cambodian booby trap. There's probably a specific one, but I think that might just be the general name. But it was set up, and they see that it was launched, and they're like, the only person that could have walked away from this would be Victor.
Like, they know how sturdy this man is. Like, it's
right. Listen, everyone respects Victor as a warrior, as assassin warrior. Like, his body is built like none other. It's crazy. He's like a brick wall, like a human brick wall. But anyway, Willie's like, I didn't know they were capable of this, and Saya's like, well, they didn't have a choice, and neither do we. And this is where our boy Willie decides that he's going to bring up what happened at the library when she did not grab her sword. And she's like, hey, let's drop it. Master Lin doesn't make idle threats. We should get on hunting them. And he's like, you want to kill our friends? Why is it so important you graduate? And it's like, we've been dating, but you don't tell me nothing. And she says, I'll trust you when you stop being so needy. And he asked, why are you being such a bitch?
Which is the thing you don't say.
No, neither one of them was at all right for saying that, but Willie really went over more than a couple lines. And Saya just kind of looks at him, pulls her arm away, and says, we're done. I'm not carrying you anymore. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Damn.
And that's quite a quick and fast breakup. No tears. I think they both saw it coming.
Yeah. Guess so.
But anyway, we flash back to Fuckface Manor, where we see our three kids smoking a little bit and sitting on the couch by like a couple lit candles, having what food they can scrounge up, reliving old memories. They talk about how Billy used to do anything for a laugh. He one time drank a cup of 3-month chew spit and cigarette ash just to make some girls puke. And he thought that was funny.
How would you do that to your son?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to myself either. That's not funny for anyone.
For girls' attention. Like, what?
Right?
Oh, man.
It's crazy. But anyway, they're asking best memories. And Billy's like, well, my best memory is I got a kiss from this really cute girl, but she was a huge Duran Duran fan. And after we kissed, she made like a Duran Duran Wild Boys reference, and he said, "No, I don't think I am." And that's when she ceremoniously broke up with him the next day. And they're like, no girl is worth pretending to like Duran Duran. And then Marcus goes over his, and he talks about how he got invited to a party with this girl, and he went, but she was cute and dumb, and she didn't really get along with him. So he went out back to go smoke with some people. Only thing is, the joint they were smoking was laced with PCP.
Yeah, it was literally fucking angel dust, and he tripped the hell out. I love the fact that he said that, like, he described it as, it's like being on acid, meth, and steroids. Just takes a few seconds, and you're off your tits.
Mm-hmm. And something else I really want to bring up is I really love the way they do like the drug scenes in this book. Like, there's always a slightly different animation style or drawing style for each theme. Because like this PCP, he's like real crazy-eyed. His lines are really hard. But then like you see before, when he thought it was just weed, the lines are a lot softer, like more rounded, not as jagged. He has a lot calmer vibe to him. But he goes on about telling how like, hey, I'm Mr. Rogers. He comes back into the party. And Karen looked upset that he was apparently on angel dust, which, why would you ever be upset that your date's on angel dust, right?
He didn't know.
It's true. In fairness, he really didn't know that it was going to be angel dust. Anyway, he felt like Mr. Rogers. He got real friendly. He would apparently throw raisins at people whenever they tried to walk away from a conversation with him, which I thought was a real funny one.
He referred to them as like, I would throw raisins at people and as like, pretending they were like totes of wisdom.
Right. But eventually, I guess they learned that they just had to ignore him. So they did. And they would just sit and talk amongst themselves, having a grand old time. But then the moment anyone left the room, they'd immediately start shit-talking them. And Marcus is like, you know what? For everything that was King Dominions, at least we weren't shit-talking on our own friends, backstabbing each other. And he's like, at least we aren't the kind of people who only know how to bond by shitting on someone. And that's when Billy goes, hey, the drugs are cool. They let people be them true selves. The spaz come out, if you will. And Petra's like, yeah, they're also an excuse to do things you've always wanted to do. And she goes on about how the last time she was real high, she almost slept with Victor. The only issue was Victor couldn't get hard. That's right. He said he preferred to know a girl first. And, you know, she thought that was sweet. So they just cuddled through the night and that was it. However, next thing in the morning, we hear that Victor's going around telling people, yeah, I didn't sleep with Petra because she has feminine hygiene issues, is what he described it as. And that's when Billy cracks a fucking gut laughing. And he's like, wow, that's what you get. You deserve that for trying to hook up with Victor. Feminine hygiene issues. And then he pauses. It's like, you don't have them actually, right? And then, of course, Marcus, having slept with Petra before, chimes in and goes, yeah, no, she's fine down there. Cleanest machine possible.
I mean, he says it with irony because she was the one that gave him that the
rash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I
because
also
she had
want
a
to
freshly shaved or something, and like an
Yeah.
ingrown hair infection, I think it was.
Yeah, and I want to take a note that like this her admitting that like she didn't sleep with Victor kind of relieves Billy a little bit, like because obviously he had a crush on Petra, so like he just like, oh wait, oh my gosh, she did sleep with Victor, great, like maybe I still got a chance.
Yeah, Petra was just interested in all those muscles. She wanted to experience it at least once, is what she was saying.
She wanted to know what a Chad. She wanted to know what sex with a Chad would look like.
Yeah, I mean it's an experience not a lot of people get to experience apparently. But anyway, after we have that little talk about Petra, our boy Marcus gets real touchy, real right to the heart of the situation with Billy, saying like, "Wow, Billy, you're a real one. I know who my real friends are. You guys never turn your back on me. I can always trust you, Billy." And Billy's getting real awkward. But eventually he does get in for a hug with Marcus. Marcus says, "I love you." And Billy goes, "You know what? I love you too, Marcus. But if we're gonna have sex, I'm the top."
I love that line. Oh, that's so funny. Oh man, that's great.
Right. Shit. And that's where we cut away from Fuckface Manor finally, and we cut to, I assume, the basement of the school. Kendall walks up and finds Steven. Steven's asleep though. And he's like, "Hey man, be quiet. What are you doing sleeping, by the way? Everyone's trying to hunt you." And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, just really on edge. Can we keep moving?" And he's like, "You have no idea how bad everything is. 7 hours till finals are over, and we have problems. Shabman has pictures of us doing things." And he's like, "Oh, yeah?" And he's like, "Yeah, of us. And there's copies and there's proof of us making out and doing all sorts of other acts. And if we don't agree to what he's saying, it goes to our dad." And he's like, "Shit, that's not good for either of us."
Oh, just to make a note, Shabman also told Kendall to kill Steven.
Yes, that was because he wanted the third credit. So he blackmailed Kendall and sent Steven on his way. Or sent Kendall on his way to kill Steven, rather. So Kendall straight up says, "Yeah, he wants me to kill you." And of course Steven's like, "That bitch. And you're not gonna, and you don't know how he's gonna send the pictures?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I have a plan. My dad, he was in the CIA, and they have a bunch of powerful truth serums. When I went home for Christmas, I took some. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kidnap this motherfucker, tie him up, and get him to tell us where everyone is."
Yeah, well, not where everyone is, but where, like, who has information.
Yeah, like where the pictures are, rather. Yeah. Because they want to know where the pictures are for it, so they can erase them. And as they're saying that, we cut back to Shabnan in the office. Everyone's arguing around him, wanting credit for the kills. And Shabnan's like, "This is the most annoying thing. I told these people to do their work, and now they're fighting over who gets credit. It's obviously Shabnan. I don't know why they're fighting for it."
Yeah.
But Darla clearly has a lot of power here because she bends over, whispers in his ear that the cheerleaders clearly don't respect him. And he's like, "Well, cheer squad gets nothing." And they're like, "Bullshit." And then they're escorted out of the room. Now, of course, Darla seems like she has a personal grudge against this girl. She says, "Tell her friends caught her going down on one of the Mexicans." Which, you know what? I don't know how to say that. I don't know how to react to that fully.
Yeah. Yeah, like, don't you love some racism? Oh god.
Yeah. But anyway, Shabman's going on about how, hey, Marcus is dead anyway. That's the important thing. he has an agent on the inside, so even if like Marcus gets away, he has someone who will kill him. A traitor in his camp. The ally would soon let him know when everything had happened and it was done. And now he was waiting. And we flash back again to Fuckface Manor, and it's the three of them talking about where they're gonna go after the sun rises. And they're talking about how, hey, we can wait and catch a bus on the way out. They're expecting us to go back, but let's just slip out of town. If we just leave and don't get caught, like leaving the city, they're just never gonna find us. But the thing is, they have to make their move now. Otherwise, well, in the morning rather, right as soon as the sunrise and transportation's away. Otherwise, they won't get another chance. And while they're talking about this, Dan is setting up another explosive arrow, and he's getting ready to launch it. And as he does, Saya leaps out of nowhere, cuts his head off, also cuts through his bow, and the arrow just kind of falls, and there's no explosion for it. But unfortunately, someone's shooting guns, and she goes, fuck, and Victor's running up the stairs with the last remaining twin, unfortunately, because one is dead now. Now, of course, Marcus is like, how do they find us? And Billy's like, I don't know. Shatman read your journals. Maybe he told Victor. And Marcus looks at him a little suspiciously and says, yeah, something like that. And he goes, I know these streets. Stick to the plan. I'll draw them away. You guys sneak out back. In 10 minutes, and then go hide in the Golden Gate Park until the sun rises. Petra points out they have no weapons and that we should stick together. And Marcus gives her a hard time, saying like, oh, it almost seemed like you cared about me. And Petra says we both know that's not true. And then as he's about to slip away, he gives her a small warning that, hey, Billy's on edge. Watch out for him.
He's acting a little sus there.
Yeah, truly a little sus. But anyway, Marcus jumps out the window. He starts running, and Victor keeps chasing after him because no way in hell he's gonna let Marcus run away. So Marcus decoy smashes a window, and baits them into a trap. They light up the practice dummies, or I guess the mannequins in the window, only to realize the trap that Marcus has set. And he comes driving out with a car he had stolen and hits both of the Russians, seemingly killing Yusef, leaving only Victor alive, hanging onto the hood. Then, as they're driving, they pass a cop who seems to be getting a sexual favor from a hooker.
No. He's trying to blackmail this hooker to keep working as long as he has sex with him.
I mean, yeah, that is exactly what's happening. I was just trying to be...
No, I'm going to be upfront with it. That's exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he used the word tenderloin a lot.
Well, that's what this place is called. Where San Francisco is called the Tenderloin.
And no, I get that. It just sounds weird having it come out sexual after.
Yeah, like,
but anyway.
Yeah, it's like, baby, I'm the law around the Tenderloin, which makes you gonna work here. You gotta treat my loins tender.
And you know what? Solid line.
Can't even just run that out loud. Jesus Christ.
God, no, I'm sorry. But anyway, he sees them driving down, Victor on the hood, waving a gun, and he immediately jumps to his car because this man has priorities. He's like, hey, we got a crazy guy on a Volkswagen driving through the Tenderloin. He's on there with a gun. He's like, did you get plates? And he's like, nope, just look for the one with a large guy with a machine gun.
I love that.
Yep. And then Victor pulls himself back onto the hood. Victor is so insanely strong. His grip staying.
What do they feed him?
They gotta be feeding him some kind of super soldier serum. I have no idea how he's this strong.
Super soldier goulash are they feeding this man, bro?
Damn, they gave him the Winter Soldier treatment.
Bucky versus Victor, who wins?
Damn, honestly, I don't know. I think it might be Bucky just for the experience.
man.
Victor hasn't graduated yet. We'll see how he is when he graduates. But anyway, he jumps in, pulls himself onto the hood, jams his muzzle right through the window, and starts firing the gun. Marcus pushes the gun nozzle away with his hand and burns his hand because bullets flying out of metal is really hot, dude.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then he stops and he tries to jerk our friend off the front by applying the brakes really swiftly, only to have their friend still hanging on. But lucky for him, the cop rear ends Marcus, and Victor goes flying. Marcus then runs away, and he's like, shit, well, I guess the cop's dead. Cop doesn't know what he's getting into. But the cop's sitting there ready to shoot Victor. And honestly, I don't think that cop's going to live a very long life.
Nah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, as Marcus is running off, he realizes he can't hear anything out of his right ear. He thinks he's deaf. His hand is burnt. He's wondering how they got tracked, and all he knows is that he's running away. It's like a single second, and they're worrying about the future, and they just want to enjoy victory, but it's the same old thing. The world just keeps shitting on him. But he finally has a little bit of respite at the top of this building, and only to hear from behind him someone ask, celebrating. And then we cut to the next scene, and we see Willie holding a gun at Marcus, leveled at him. And he goes, "You're a long stretch from celebrating, Aguero." Arguello.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with his name every time.
Yeah, I get it.
Arguello. And that's how issue 20 ends.
All right, so I'm gonna say this real quick because I forgot to read Rebecca's notes from the last issue. My fault, Rebecca.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Rebecca.
So she basically says, from the last issue, that it's like maybe what these kids really need is a therapy school. Oh man.
Wait. Do you think they have a school therapist?
I hope so.
I imagine it'd be a shitty one, but do you think they have it?
Maybe not. Honestly, do you think? Actually, people in the comments, do you think the students at King's Dominion need a school therapist, or do you think
No. Yeah, do you think they have one already?
Do they have one on staff?
Do they need one? Is yes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Ideally, they should have a therapist for each child.
Because they all have too much tragic backstories and trauma. But yeah,
Right. Oh, these are broken children, man.
Oh man. Actually, Rebecca's here. Shame on you. Hi, by the way, didn't expect all this stuff to be going. Yeah, we're still going. All right. So the second thing she said was, "Victor is a monster. I'm glad Billy beat the shit out of him." Yes. And then she said, "Insert it was me, Barry" joke about that Shatman moment because that's all I could think of. It was me, Barry. I jerked you off. Oh man,
it's true.
It's hilarious. Honestly, yeah, that's pretty much it with the whole Shatman thing. But yeah, moving on to last to the issue though. Yeah, it's good. No, it's really good. I do love the fact that it is literally just Marcus. The beginning of the book is Marcus just basically remarking on hey, if I leave King's Dominion, I'm back to square one and I'm gonna be homeless again, and I don't like that. But then throughout the course of the issue, it kind of transitions to more of a mindset where it's I'll be homeless again, but yet I'll still have friends, to be around. Which again, even though which is kind of his fear of being alone, kind of resolved a little bit after that. I love that conversation he has where he's talking with Petra and Billy about what are their favorite memories about King's Dominion, which I thought was really great. Kind of have the little bit this kind of friendly camaraderie between each other. Willie and Saya breaking up. I mean, I kind of
Honestly, I was surprised they got together.
Yeah, I was expecting it, to be honest with you, because like because you can even tell that like even though like they do care about one another, they're not really right for each other due to like their differences. Not mean in terms of like how they go about the school and like their ideas of like killing and all that stuff. Victor needs to calm his ass down. He's out here eating bullets, surviving car crashes, getting pinned by concrete, and is still moving. Like, I don't understand it. It's crazy.
Dude's like built like a tank.
He's built like the freaking Berlin Wall, bro. He's not coming down until he wants to come down. It's kind of wild. Yeah, I mean, what else? Yeah, the stuff with Shabnam and Darla. What's her name? I keep saying Darla. Is it Darla or Deborah?
No, because I think we're gonna call her the troll until we figure it out.
Yeah, we're gonna call her the troll. I mean, she's the troll, like but yeah, I think it's I thought that stuff was really cool about like he's kind of a little whipped in terms of like kind of her. She's starting to like make some of the decisions, and he's just kind of just taking it. So she's kind of the crush to his plan of like King's Dominion domination. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of cool. But I think it's very interesting.
Okay. Also, I found her name. Her name is Kelly Grogda.
We're so off. Okay. Kelly.
Yeah. So the troll is what we're going with.
The troll is what we're going with. Yes, because that is her name.
The troll and Kelly.
Yeah. And yeah, man. I mean. And just that ending of like Willie squaring up on Marcus, gonna jump on him, and now that he's killed someone, he might kind of have like the thirst for it now because he has to do it or else Master Lynn's probably gonna kill him. So I think
and their families.
I think that was a pretty good ending. But yeah, I mean, let's move on to what Rebecca thinks. Rebecca, you can join in if you want. You don't have to just keep listening. you know where the link is. Yeah. So Rebecca said that she's like, I like Marcus's whole monologue about the swans and the rats bonding. Yeah, that was really cool. Good action, cool action, and not a lot of thoughts. That's all she has. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I really gotta say on it. It's a really good. It's a good follow-up issue to a little grace period during the last issue. Yeah. I don't know. You have any final thoughts or any thoughts on this? Pretty good.
No more final thoughts.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, now we're gonna finish it off, Demoan. We're gonna finish it off with issue 21, bro.
That's 21. Right. This is a fun cover. I'm a fan of any black and red cover, and I like how this one's like all the blood is draining.
Yeah, it's like this gutter. Yeah.
So like I'm a fan of the blood down the sewer visual that they got going on here. Yeah. Other than that, there's not like a lot going on in the cover, but it's a simple but nice one, I think.
Yep, sir. I agree. Pretty cool.
Yeah. But anyway, to start this issue off, they appear back in Fuckface Manor, and Petra's walking in to see Billy. If you notice right away, she has this bottle in her hand, and as she walks, she sits down and she starts talking through Billy, talking about how Victor was drawn away. Nope, there's no way to make it out of here. I don't think we're gonna make it. And then he goes on to tell the story about his dad. He was a gambler who just beat the odds and got rich. And he would always just slap him and his mom around. And one day the dad had a talk with him and was like, hey, I don't want you. You're a shitty kid. I don't want you. The only reason I keep you around is so I can lock up your mom. I really like having sex with your mom. But I can't keep doing that unless I have you. But I want you to know I'm ashamed of you. And this is a wild conversation to have with a child.
Dude, it is. He refers to him as a jizz muzzle. Like, that's what he is. That's how he sees Billy as. I'm like, dude, it's rough. And I love the way that Craig illustrates it. Like, the more that he's talking to him, the smaller Billy Billy feels and the bigger his dad gets, and I love that.
Mhm.
Like, you know.
Oh, it's a wonderful image because like it's oppressive. He's like, hey, as long as you don't mess up what I got going, you can do whatever you want with your loser life. But the moment you mess that up, I'm going to kill you.
Oh, Lord.
And I think that's just an threat. Now, of course, we get a little more Petra backstory here because, you know, she's sharing too. Billy just shared his backstory. And she talks about how her parents joined this demonic death sex cult. And they were starving, and she didn't know where her next meal was coming from. And she had to start eating at the neighbors. She wouldn't go to school anymore. They even started bringing people to the house. But it all kind of came to a head one day when she was going through the fridge and she reached back into the fridge for a jar, only to pull out her mother's eyeballs. Can you imagine reaching into a fridge and pulling out your mother's eyes? Just the eyes. In a jar.
It's wild. I mean, I love Petra's origin because they do it in the show. They actually do it in the show. And I remember I said that the show only covers the first 2 volumes, so I like that we got to know her backstory a little earlier. But I think is great. But yeah, no, it's just dark and just sad because literally, like, because you said her parents used to be like for most of her life were like pretty devout Christians, and this one day they just end up just being Satanists and just like inviting people and just having like massive like Satanist like dark
massive orgies.
Yeah, and then she even said like this, like she was hearing screams and moanings, but it was like more than just fucking. They were doing like awful things to each other for the name of like the devil or some shit. And the fact that like her mom had to pay the price by taking her eyeballs out and
dying, I think, because it insinuates that her father kind of grabs her by the neck and kind of makes her look her mother's eyes in the eyes just on the ground and is like, I watched as your mother died. I watched her soul fall. Once you see it leave, Petra, it gives you strength and you no longer fear death. And then he just left for work.
Left for work. Like, just like, what the fuck?
Daughter, you make her dead on the eye. So anyway, they bond over what they're going through, and then we flash back over to Marcus and Willie on the roof. Of course, Willie hasn't shot yet because Willie doesn't know shooting guns at people very well. I give that to him though; he's a good one. Now, of course, Marcus is like, I gotta talk him down. This is my last chance. And I really love the little sequence that plays out here. And he's like, I gotta say the right thing. And it's like, don't kill me. Perfect. Last words. Perfect cliche. After everything we've been through, you're not going to shoot me, Willie. And I think that's just hilarious. Now, of course, Willie's like, why? Because I'm a punk? And it's like, no, because it's not your thing. You're better than that. You don't do this. You don't kill people. And of course, Willie's like, yeah, but if I don't bring you back dead, Master Lin's gonna kill my mom. And she might be a monster, but I'm not gonna let her die just because I let your ass go. Now Marcus takes this as, wait, you don't have to go back. You never wanted this anyway. They chose this, not you. We could run away. Run away with us, Willie. We're terrified of being alone. And this is the roof where we first jumped, where we first made our bond as friends. And when we were friends, best friends, I told you I loved Saya, and you beat me to the punch. And this is where we see that Willie wasn't really dating Saya for the right reasons. It was because of this little fucking love triangle that Marcus got himself into with Saya and Maria. He felt like the odd man out. He felt like he was left behind all the time. And this was his way to kind of get back into things. So he fucked over his friend. And, you know, he straight up says, I never really liked Saya that much. In fact, I wish I'd never met her. Sometimes I think this is what she wanted. And that's like an exact quote from him. But anyway, he starts crying, and Marcus is like, trust me, you don't want this blood on your hands. You've already killed and he's like, I killed my cousin, I killed my dad. Saya tricked me, man. I killed someone in the library. And this is where he has another breakdown about Saya not getting her sword fast enough. I've seen her get that sword so often, but this time she just didn't. And he goes on about how he doesn't have a choice. And then he realizes that he does have a choice. And he puts the gun right up to his chin, and he's ready to pull the trigger. Marcus does his best to talk him down, yells no. And we cut away right as he's yelling no. After they're on the roof and we cut back to the school. We see the janitors cleaning up the dead bodies and the blood off the floor. And we see Kelly. That's right, we got the name right this time. Kelly talking about, hey, you messed this up. I told you there were too many moving pieces, you idiot. My dad only does street hits. I know street hits. You should have listened to me. You know what? I'm in charge now, and this is where Kelly takes over. Now, whether this is going to be one that sticks or not, we'll see. Come back for future episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, she's like, I'm running the business. And all of a sudden, they ask the one guard that they have in the room to leave so they can have a private conversation. Then all of a sudden, Kendall bursts in, shoots him in the head, and is like, neither of you move. Listen, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I'm going to put a bullet in your head if you don't shut up. And I'm going to tell you, and you're going to tell me where the photos are. That's the only way out of this. Otherwise, I tie both of you up, torture you, and you tell me, and then I still kill you. Frankly, he doesn't give a shit which is chosen. He just wants them to answer quick, so he can get this going quickly. And that's when Shad then mentions about a third option. And we see Steven down there picking something up. And he's like, okay, what's the third option? I guess we're going to... No, he doesn't even ask the third option. He said we're going to have to do it the hard way. And that's when Steven shoots Kendall in the back of the head. Honestly, this was one of the hardest deaths for me in the whole book.
Yeah.
I really... Kendall was an instigator. I really liked his character. And he just died right here, which I thought was insane. But he's shot in the back of the head, and Steven walks out, and he looks at Shadman and says, you promised me a seat at the table. If you ever consider reneging on that, look at what I did to the man I just love. Look what I just did to the man I love. Imagine what I do to someone I hate. And he walks out, and presumably he'll be safe for the rest of the exam. Then we finally cut back to Petra and Billy. Petra gets up and is like, hey, you ready to go? And as she's walking to the door, she takes the cap off of her little bottle. And then she slams the door quick, unlocks it, and starts boarding it up. Gas is now filling the room, and Billy's like, crap. You can't do anything. Open the door. And that's when he realized that this room has no windows.
Mm-hmm.
And he's panicking, obviously. He's yelling, what did I do? He wants the door open. But Petra's just saying, hey, take a deep breath, make it end quick. But Billy's trying to do everything he can to survive, only to break the knife he had trying to pry open the door. Then he stuffs his shirt in the vial to try to make the gas spread slower. But the pressure builds up and it explodes. And the gas fills the room, and Billy's all bloody everywhere. We finally cut back to the roof with Marcus and Willie. Marcus is doing his best to talk his friend down. And he's like, you're the only good person I've known. Don't leave me here. If you can't make it out, if you can make it out of this, you can have being a good person back. We can never talk about any of this. We'll move to a small village in Mexico. Don't know why they're going to Mexico, right where the cartels are.
Yeah, that move.
Right, but I get his sentiment. In a week, we'll be sitting on a beach drinking beer. In a year, we'll have completely new lives. In 10 years, we'll have families and everything will be forgotten. And he successfully talks his friend down, and then we get another flashback again. They're flashing back a lot quickly from the Petra and the Marcus situation here. So they flash back to the Petra situation, and we see Billy lying on the ground, curled up, struggling to breathe.
Yeah,
Petra
choking.
finally walks in. Yep, choking on this disgusting air in here. But Petra finally walks in and pulls him out. And she gets over him, looks him in the eyes, and said, "Die for me, Billy." And we get this really cool illustration of Billy's eye. And then the next frame is Billy's eye with a little skull in it. And she's like, "There. You were right, Dad." And she says, "You were right, Dad. I'm not afraid." And this was her looking death in the eye as it left his soul, and she's no longer afraid of death.
Yeah, man.
This was fucking crazy, man.
I remember when I read this the first time, and I was like, I was pissed because I really loved Billy. Like,
Billy was one of my favorite characters.
One of my favorite characters. And I was like, what the hell? Like, come on. He didn't deserve this. He just wanted out. That's all he wanted. Like,
right?
Come on. And it also, like, cemented that, like, Petra is just as crazy as her parents became. Like, he's a product of what they became. And
right.
I don't know, it was, like, really good writing, but I was like, man, fuck Petra. Like, I was like, damn. I was starting to like Petra, too. And I was like, oh,
right?
God.
She was such a cool character. She was a nice little foil to being like, oh, I'm cynical, but I know I'm cynical, which was like a contrast to Marcus being like, oh, I'm just a cynical asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But it was real nice. But anyway, Marcus and our boy Willie are walking back to the stair doors, trying to go downstairs. Only for a gunshot to ring out. Marcus immediately looks at himself, sees that there's no bullet wounds on him, and then looks back to see his boy Willie shot in the chest. He pulls him inside. He pulls him inside only to watch the light leave Willie's eyes. And he's like, get up, we gotta go. But Victor comes running, and he has to leave the body, otherwise they'll both be dead. He runs downstairs, Victor chasing after him. There is a haze, and things just happen. Victor's dad's voice comes over, saying this isn't a dress rehearsal, you only get one chance. You have to survive. And then he goes through his mind how he has to kill Victor, he has to kill Master Lin, he has to kill everybody. He's going to pay back, he's going to survive. The most important thing is he's going to survive.
This is Marcus's dad's voice, by the way, not Victor's dad.
Yes. Victor's, because Marcus's dad is telling him to survive. But anyway, he goes, snap out, and snap out of it. Why be afraid? He's not going to die here. And then we get this flashback image of him like laughing with Willie, him smoking with some friends. I have to assume this is the incident where Billy puked.
Billy barfed all that ash, the spit stuff, and then the ash.
The chew spit. Yeah. Now it could be a separate Billy puking incident, but my heart tells me it's the same one.
Billy's definitely puked more than once.
Yeah, for sure. This kid just pukes to make people uncomfortable, for sure. He even gets one of him like holding Maria's face. And he's like, I'm gonna survive. I'm not gonna die. Not after everything. Not like this. Not like Willie. I won't just disappear. And as he's running out, he opens the door, and he runs right into the sword of Saya, holding it up. And this is like a crazy image because I was expecting him to start running through an alley, but he opens the door and he's just right through the sword. Like he impales himself.
Yeah. It like when you read this, you're just like, oh my god, he's gonna make it out. It's gonna be great. Like he's gonna make it out, hopefully. Nope. Immediately just gets skewered and you're like, oh my god. Like what the fuck? Like it's when you all you want is a little bit of hope. Remember, just takes it away from you.
And it's a bold move for volume 4 of like a series that's going to go on for at least another couple of volumes at this point. But anyway, he gets skewered. Saya whispers something in his ear. We can't quite hear what it is as the audience.
You can't even read it, yeah.
But anyway, she pulls the sword out. Marcus falls, and he looks up at her. Saya's crying. And he seems to go back into the acid trip with the balloon clown. And he has another flashback, and his parents are talking about, like, oh, where should we go today? Should we finally go on that little trip we were talking about? And he's like, nope, I just want to go for a walk in the park with you guys. And his dad's like, maybe we'll see some swans. And that's kind of, and if you guys remember before, there's been a few mentions of swans, but there was the one earlier in the book where they directly mentioned him going to the place with his swans with Maria. And this is kind of like showing why he has such a connection with the swans at lakes. And it's all because of his dad.
Yeah.
And the story, it ends with them just walking into the sunset to the park.
I love it. I like this ending a lot. It's literally just like it kind of comes a little full circle, like Marcus watching his parents die as a kid right in front of him, and then when he pretty much is dead, like he gets killed himself, his afterlife is just going through that exact one with his parents, but this time is actually like it seems to be more.
It's a really sweet ending.
Yeah. It's like, damn, like it's really well done. I was like I remember even when I read it the first time, and even like again rereading it, I was like, I'm a little teary eyed. I was like, wow, this is kind of beautiful,
right?
And it's in that watercolor style, like we mentioned last time, and what we mentioned earlier. It was very well done, very well done.
I'm so glad they decided to use so many different like style mediums in this book.
Yeah, like the whole idea of just like rats and swans, like which Rebecca talked about in her notes as well.
Did she talk about it again in her notes this time?
I don't know actually, but I just like that theme between like rats and swans, and it's very well done. But
right.
Yeah, well, what's up?
I said yes, I agreed with you.
Okay. But yeah, you know what? We'll actually, speaking of Rebecca, we'll start off with her notes, right? And she has actually more notes here than here, but these are Rebecca's thoughts on the last issue. So she likes the whole moment with Willie and Marcus on the rooftop, which is again really well written, and I love it a lot. Love doesn't win this Pride Month, or rip Kendall.
Yo, for real.
Steven's alive, and he's gay.
Yeah, but he killed Kendall.
I know, but he killed Kendall. Kendall's a good character. He's like, I kind of like Billy, but snitches get stitches. Even though Petra didn't know he snitched. Also crazy for his death to tie into her backstory. Don't know what that means for her going forward though. Here's the thing, right? Rebecca, I think it was true. It was. I think. Well, for me, I thought the twist was that Petra was the one who did it, who snitched, not Billy, or maybe I got that wrong.
I mean, listen, there's a whole volume for this get confirmed, so maybe we'll see next time.
Maybe, yeah, okay. I don't. For me, when I read this twice, I thought it was Petra was the one that called Shabnam to save herself, and
that's what I was thinking too. But I also don't know when she would have got a chance to run out and do that.
Yeah, that's true. So, well, Rebecca thinks that Billy's the one that snitched. So yeah, I mean. I don't think it does make sense, but there's that. She said, "Rip Willie. I liked him even though he was a bitch." Wow.
Damn, just because he didn't want to murder people.
He didn't want to murder people. Listen, Rebecca loves edgy boys. That's why she loves Marcus so much. Like, you know.
That's why she loves Marcus.
Yeah, she loves teenagers with a little bit of a hard arm for killing. So that's why, you know, she more favors. That's why she considers more Willie of a bitch. Okay, she said. Then she said, Saya killing Marcus is a girl boss move. Good for her, worrying about herself.
Truly an icon, you know.
Oh my god.
Truly.
Good point. And she said, I like the ending vision Marcus had trying his tying his backstory together. Yeah, no, it's really well written. I love it a lot. But yeah, I mean, overall thoughts on issue 5. It's a really good finale, and a lot of the twists you don't see coming. Like Kendall getting hurt, done.
Leaves on
like Kendall,
strong cliffhangers.
Yeah, dude, Kendall getting murked, done. Like, okay, again, to go back with the poll, if people who are joining us now, I did a poll last episode, and people voted for, I think it was most people voted for Marcus getting killed, and then I think only like 29% of the people, I think Billy and Willie were tied for 29%. So people mostly thought Marcus was going to die in this book, but no, straight up, the real twist is Remender kills all 3 of them. All 3 of them. It's nuts. I did not expect that when I read it the first time. I was like, I expected at least like one of them to live, or at least like both. And he does a really good job of like giving you those slivers of hope, especially with like Willie and Marcus when talking about like what they're gonna be doing together, like after they leave Kings and all that. You get a sliver of hope, and then nope, Willie's gone. And then like when you have Marcus run away after seeing his best friend get killed, you're like, okay, maybe Marcus didn't die. Nope, Marcus is killed too. And you're like, whoa, it's nuts. It's a crazy fucking ending to the volume as a whole. Now, there's a comment here, and Rebecca's like, Rebecca said they show a blood Billy and then a bloody phone. I think the implication is that in this volume at least is that he called. I'm like, yeah. Well, yeah, I would say that. I would agree with you. But yeah, no, it's this issue is nuts. It's a really good ending, great action, like not really action, but like great like emotional like scenes, especially between Marcus and Willie, like Marcus trying to get Willie not to kill himself because Willie was pushed too far on the edge due to what happened with him with Saya, and the expectation of like, you know, the reveal that like Lynn is planning on killing his mother if he doesn't at least get some kills get some kills for the exam. Like that I guess is the punishment for people who don't continue forward, you know, with finals, and they're gonna get their family members killed, which is, I mean, a good motivator to get kids to pass the exam, you know.
I mean, they can't have people leaking this shit.
That's true, yeah. The whole thing with Shabnam, like Kelly, like, you know, kind of like emasculating Shabnam to basically like take power for herself. Again, it's kind of wild, and you know, kind of like sets up like what stage of what Kelly's gonna do going forward as like this new like leader of the school, basically among the kids. I think it's really good. Yeah, I mean, Petra, Jesus Christ, like again, like somebody that like Petra, the stuff that like her parents dealt with, like the trauma with her parents being the satanic cult and them being essentially crazy, proved that with Petra killing Billy, that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I thought it was really well done. I was like, oh, it's a shock too. I was like, wow.
She no longer fears death.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what Steven is going for. What Steven gonna do going forward. I mean, I know because I've read, but like it's been a minute, so I might have forgot. But yeah, like what Steven's gonna do going forward, since obviously he cemented his place as a legacy, you know, going forward to school. Yeah, man, it's just good shit. But like, it's just that. Most importantly, just like rip to Billy and rip to Willie and rip to Marcus. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's just wow. Like out of all of them, like, I mean, Rebecca, even though Rebecca stated that, yeah, like, you know, rip Willie, but he was a bitch, and like, you know, even though, yeah, rip Willie because he was a bitch, and like, you know, even though Billy was such, but like, I feel like the person that deserved to die the least was Billy. Like, I think. Because like I remember when I read it the first time, I was so mad. I was like, come on, like this kid got dealt a bad hand in life. Well, all of them have, but like it's just like all he wanted to do was just like just be a normal kid and live a normal life, and because he didn't ask to be in Kings, you know, like he didn't ask to be in Kings, but granted, he did not deserve to die. He did not deserve to die. And granted, like Petra, even though like yeah he snitched, but like even though I guess he snitched, but yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen with Petra though, you know, going forward, dealing with like, you know, killing, you know, Billy, and she liked Billy. She kind of cared about Billy as a friend, you know. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen going forward. But yeah, and overall, this issue is it's fucking amazing.
The whole volume was fire.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to move on to final thoughts then, Demoan?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, final thoughts overall with volume 4, Die For Me, amazing. I think this is like it's
definitely top 3 volumes in the whole book or the whole series.
Oh, 100%. It's like I consider this an event. So like it pays off. Like a lot of the stuff we've been setting up since volume 1 pays off in this volume. A lot of the character arcs, I guess, get completed, especially with the characters that are taken off the board. I feel like they get completed really well before they, you know, meet their end, like with Willie and Billy. That was great. Marcus as well, you know, as well, submitting him, like the way his story wraps around, especially with that time of like what happens, what he experiences when he dies, going like the fact that like his afterlife is just going on that walk again with his parents, but it's more of a happier ending this time. I think it's so good and so well written. A lot of good stuff here, like mental health is like mental health, suicide, like trauma is a very like well represented theme in this book. It's in this volume. Stuff with Master Lin, like seeing like Master Lin, like the influence he has on like the way he blackmails Saya and Willie to get what he wants, to make sure that they pass the final exam, is really well done. Most boys Shabnam stepping up as a villain, as like pretty much like the antagonist, and like showcasing like his hatred, showcasing his hatred of Marcus, and like what even though what Marcus did to him was pretty small and insignificant, it's dumb high school angst. But like it shows that like, listen, don't bully like the kid that is bullied and is taken advantage of by everybody is the most dangerous one of all of them, due to the fact that like he uses information as his strength, information as power, is like Shabnam's vibe. And I love that a lot. It's so good. Watch Revenge of the Nerds. Watch Revenge of the Nerds. That's literally Shabnam's character. Is those characters in that movie.
And they
go. Yeah, man, it's good stuff. And it's like, now that, you know, these characters are taken off the board, like what are we gonna expect from the next issue? It's really well done. And like I'm curious to see what, like, you know, because we saw Saya cry while she killed Marcus. So it's interesting to see, like, knowing like what she's gonna be dealing with in the next volume too. It's really good, but this is phenomenal. I love this volume a lot. 10 out of 10.
Oh, I'm breaking up. I can't really.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get my.
All right, well, I'll remove Demoan for a second while he gets a little situated. But yeah, no, his volume is really well done. I think it's phenomenal. It sucks though, the fact that the fact that Marcus and Billy and Willie are taken off the board. It's crazy. It's insane. And the fact that like Rick Mender did this, and to set up the next like arcs going forward is very ballsy. The fact that his main character is like these 3 main leads are now taken off the board. It shows that like, yeah, it's an assassin school. No one's really safe. Anyone can get taken off the board. Is wild, and I love that a lot. Victor as well. Victor being I like Victor a lot more in this volume a lot, getting more of his backstory, his motivations, so like why he works as hard, why he does the things that he does, through the backstory with his father. I think it's really well done. And shows that, yeah, like everyone has some skin in the game. It's kind of wild. All right, Demoan, you're back. You're good.
Yep.
All right, man. What were your thoughts? So just go on. What are your thoughts on the whole volume as a whole, man?
So I very much liked it. I'm very excited for you guys to see what they set Shabnam up for as a villain. I really liked all the drama that they had going on. I liked learning more about the backstories of like characters like Petra, a little bit the truth we learned about Willie. I thought it was very interesting, especially at the end, how we saw all of these big character deaths, it seems.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for you guys to see what's happening moving forward. Especially because characters like Victor and Shabnam and Kelly and everything are still around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's. I was just telling them like while we were getting situated, but like the fact that like they took Runner took three main leads off the board. That's gonna and Marcus set a lot of the tone for the book in the beginning due to his narration and how he views the world of King's Dominion. So like it's gonna be interesting to see how Remender's gonna shake things up and change the status quo a little bit with like what's gonna happen, going forward without Willie, Marcus, and Billy, because we've grown to love those characters. Even Marcus too, even though he's a piece of shit sometimes. It's
yeah.
wild.
Marcus had his moments. I'll admit that.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did care about his friends when he wasn't being a little bitch about it sometimes.
Yeah, true. But yeah, no. Overall, I love this volume a lot. It's my favorite volume. One of my favorite volumes in the series, from as much as I've read. Cause I only read like up to volume 7 or 8, so I don't. So but yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. But yeah, any more thoughts before we move on? Before we close it off?
I don't think I got any more big thoughts, at least.
All right. Oh well, so I'll close it off for people. So thanks for everyone who's been watching this or will watch this. We really appreciate the support. We've been loving it. We're in volume. We're at 4 episodes, and we're gonna keep on moving. I think after this we have episode 5, and then I believe we go on. No, we have episode 5 and 6, and we go on a little break. So we're getting more towards the little break from this series, for the time being. But yeah, listen, man, loving it, and appreciate the support. Next 2 weeks, so the next episode 2 weeks from now, we're going to be covering volume number 5. And I love volume 5 as well. Volume 5 is one of my favorite volumes as well, and that is going to be titled. Let me find the thumbnail. Volume 5 is going to be titled Carousel, and it's going to be covering issues 22 to 26. And as you can see, a little different. And obviously, I love the fact that this is more. We've had Marcus's story. Now we're going to have Saya take the forefront and introduce, quote unquote, the new deadly class, and I love it. And so we're gonna, it's a new status quo, new sets of characters, a new school year because it's Saya going through her sophomore year now, and I'm all for it. I'm very excited to talk about it, and yeah, I hope we're gonna be looking forward. I hope y'all looking forward to checking it out as well.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But yeah, I also want. Yeah, for sure. And I also want to just put some spotlight on something else as well. That one of the things that we're going to be doing, thanks for everyone who's been watching, the reactions. We appreciate that. Check out the Barbie reaction that we dropped. Check out the Ninja Turtles reaction we dropped as well. And also, one of the things that we've been wanting to bring back for a while is the Indie Corner After Darks, because we haven't been doing those. We've been kind of slacking on those for a little bit. Not gonna lie. Last one we did was the Spider-Verse reviews. Or if you haven't seen our thoughts on Across the Spider-Verse, check that out as well. Great review, especially because we got Comics Explained to show up, and that was kind of wild. So definitely check that out. But one of the other reviews that we have planned as well that I'm trying to get started because I haven't really seen the movie yet, because the movie just came out, and I've been looking forward to seeing it. Is we have an Indie Corner After Dark, hopefully planned for the Flash, and I still have to see it, but be on the lookout for that after Indie Corner After Dark when we get around to it as well. But love the thumbnail. I did a good job. But yeah, as always, thanks to everyone watching. We appreciate it. Check out all the content, the reactions, the review, the Indie Corner After Darks, the Deadly Class stuff, the Transformers stuff, all the one and dones. We really appreciate the support. We're happy that y'all are loving it. The stuff that we're doing, and we have more stuff on the way. We're at 149 subscribers, and we're hopefully gonna keep on going once we reach 150. And yeah, man, it's good stuff. I don't really have what to say. But as always, people, we love you. We appreciate the support.
Yes, thank you so much.
Check out all the content coming soon. And as always, get home safe, and we'll catch y'all
next time.
All right. Later. Bye-bye.